you've already made the mistake that's holding you back. I was making the same mistake too, which was why it took me so long to figure out how to get my day job as a doctor and my career as a DJ to feed each other. I know what you're thinking. Healthcare and music are not exactly a match made in heaven. I'm going to share with you how I overcame the most common errors to create my own extremely successful portfolio career as a doctor, DJ, media personality, and business consultant for some of the biggest corporates in the world. You too could become a leader across multiple industries. Let's go. The first mistake you need to avoid is being afraid to make mistakes, because getting overcome with fear is a non-starter. Anyone trying to carve out their own path will battle self-doubt, instability, and scrutiny. It's not for the faint-hearted. So don't pass judgment on anyone for wanting to keep their head down in their 9 to 5. I'd be lying if I said there hadn't been times when I was reminded how much easier things could be if I wasn't spinning so many plates. Medical school was a hard enough grind, so when I finally became a fully licensed doctor, people thought I was actually mad to want to do something else on top. And I almost listened to them until I was honest with myself about my motivation. Is the reason you want to try this career because you love the work involved? Or are you just starstruck by the fame and fortune you see on social media? Is the reason you want to be your own boss because you thrive on the challenge that comes with being responsible for a team? Or are you just sick of your current office job? Be brutal about your motivation. Are you sure your desire for change can't be achieved where you are right now? Tied to your motivation is another big mistake most unsuccessful people make. That is not having an internal locus of control. This means you fail to believe that your own actions and behaviors significantly influence the outcomes in your life, blaming external factors like luck, fate, and other people for the outcomes in your life. Basically, you need to switch your locus of control from external to internal and be accountable to yourself. Once you strengthen that inward focus, it's time to get practical or pay the consequences. Mistake number 2, not crunching the numbers. Ask yourself, what is the minimum level of income you can take from your main career, your normal day job, so that you can give yourself more space to grow this new life? Sit there and do the math. What money is coming in and going out? Are you able to move somewhere cheaper? Can you take on an extra job on weekends to get to your needed financial situation quicker? I underestimated this at first. It didn't take long until I realized how vulnerable I really was. Back in the early days of DJing, I had to pay for my own travel just so I could get to spots to perform for free. I had to invest time and money into building a reputation. I even paid for engineers to tighten up my music releases so that I had enough material to release in the future. Sometimes I'd pay the London tube prices to go to a client meeting that didn't end up as a paid corporate gig. Anyone who uses public transport knows how quickly that adds up, which was why I soon set aside funds to build my new life without risking my livelihood. Once your napkin math is done, it's time to put it into theory. Mistake number 3 is not making a roadmap. Now, I don't mean a wish list of the cars and mansions you're going to buy. I mean a strategy for growth. But Bedalia, I hear you say, it's impossible to plan for everything. You don't know what the future holds. I agree. What I'm talking about isn't a plan. It's a roadmap. It's not deciding what will happen. It's deciding the steps to take when the time is right. Let me give you an example. I knew TV interviews would be helpful to raise awareness for my brand. So I anticipated the roadblock, getting time off work. Not easy when you're working in hospital. So when I had conversations with hospital management, I had already planned my roadmap. Listen to their concerns, like short staffing, and come up with tactics to work with them on a solution. I also planned to persuade them on how my TV interviews would benefit them by raising awareness of my employer. With a roadmap, I never went into a negotiation without leverage. My next step in the roadmap was preparing for the TV interview. Researching the channel, for example, to know how to tailor my talking points, and taking time to study media training. Afterwards, I'd watch back my performances and take notes on how to improve my next interview, and so on and so on. By developing a roadmap, I was able to place myself in the best position when vital opportunities or testing obstacles arose. But none of that would have happened if I'd made this next mistake. Mistake 4, waiting to develop brand identity. Figuring out what you have to offer is vital in today's social media landscape. But it can be a hard thing to do, but we've all got to do it at some point. I get why someone would put it off until they have a following, especially when you can build a fan base by following trends. Those algorithms are so powerful. Yet the mistake is to follow the crowd. Instead, focus on what makes you different. Look at me, not many doctors who DJ. By using my passion as a cornerstone for my brand, I was better equipped to know what to focus on. This helped me develop feedback loops. For example, TV interviews raised awareness of my passions, which increased the odds of me performing at shows, but it also honed my stage presence, which in turn improved my DJ sets. I also learned more about media production, which informed my content creation, which raised awareness and got me more offers for DJ gigs. But the ones that related to the content I was giving, so it was authentic, which in turn got me more followers, more listeners, and TV interviews, and so on and so on. Bit by bit, I was working on who I am and what I'm about without feeling like I was. And that made it easier to utilize platforms like Instagram and TikTok because I understood what I was offering and why people should care, like I do. Easy for you, I hear the critics say. There aren't many doctors who DJ. I hear that, though a doctor who DJs sometimes isn't the easy sell you might think. So don't fret if your niche is saturated. You might not need to take the route your competition is. Not everyone needs Instagram. LinkedIn could be the platform for you. Just be transparent in your values. Everyone loves a story, so tell yours. And get used to telling your story, because without it, you'll make this final mistake. Mistake 5, not seeking guidance. The difference between making your portfolio career a dream or reality is getting a mentor. Yet so many people are terrified of asking for help. It's probably because we don't like to admit we're struggling or incapable. We wrestle with the sense of wanting to prove we have what it takes, but know we don't have all the answers. Yet having someone show us the ropes will provide a valuable edge over our competition. Having a mentor to nurture us throughout our career is a game changer. Depending on what profession you're trying to get into, your industry will have a pathway for this. There's runners on film sets who get coffee while they network with higher ups. Tattoo artists who shadow someone whose style they like so they can hone their craft. For me, it was a lot of gigs DJing to empty club rooms and rundown bars. These were unpaid, yet the experience was invaluable. Now, I'd be the first to say that this all or nothing grind set approach is not healthy. I'm not suggesting you slave away over nothing forever, but I am suggesting that you might have to sacrifice a short-term comfort to get your foot through the door. I get it, it's especially challenging when you're distracted by invites to parties or socials when you're in your 20s. But getting close to someone who will take an active interest in nurturing your career will pay dividends years down the line. You can ask them about how they got their start. How did they navigate this first step? What was their roadmap? How did they plan their finances? And when did they figure out their brand? I recently made a vlog on what a week in the life of a doctor and DJ actually looks like. That was an insane week when I signed a record deal and prepared for a tour with the DJ legend Fatboy Slim. Make sure you check it out. It's on screen here. Hit subscribe and I'll see you soon.